Ya van días y varias semanas.
He hasn't given no response, and it's been days, and it's been weeks, and he has... What do you think, Sarah, this canyon right here?
It's absolutely incredible. I haven't been to Tijuana in a lot of years, and seeing how wide open it is. I mean, I don't know if you could turn the camera around and show everyone just how wide open it is. It's incredible.
A couple of questions. No. Rashida, what is your opinion on the massive child trafficking that is happening? Y espero logren su objetivo de la justicia a su país. Luchen por su país. Say the basically fight for your country. Están bloqueando el acceso. ¡Viva! La Policía Federal o la autoridad nos está deteniendo el acceso y nos está deteniendo el paso para poder cruzar hacia el Zócalo, señores.
How's everybody doing? God bless everybody that is watching. God bless our country of Mexico, our city of Tijuana, and God bless the United States of America. Let's thank God for giving us 2 legs, 2 arms, a mind that we can think, a heart that we can feel, and eyes that we can see. How's everybody doing? Again, thank you so much for joining on another day of news. Today we have another great interview, and it's good again to have again the candidate for Governor of California, Diego Martinez, on our platform. But before that, before we introduce him again and we bring him on the platform, if you guys can like this video, share this video, censorship, help us out, fighting censorship as we are being censored. But help us out if you like the video and if you share the video, and also if you copy the link and if you send it on the message box. It will help us a lot to break the algorithms and ultimately to reach more people. This is like we're fighting every day, people. And a lot of people say like, oh, let's spread the word. Help us out on sharing, liking the video, and ultimately from there we can break the algorithms and we can move forward. So last time we had one of the governor candidates for the state of California. His name is Diego Martinez, and there was a lot of questions that a lot of the people were sending me on the inbox that, they were curious about it. California is one of the most, I believe, one of the most difficult states and left Democratic states, in the whole country of the United States of America. Ultimately, New York, you got, places like that. You got Minnesota. But it's important to see and to know what everybody was saying, what can he bring to the table right now, as there are strong candidates on his side, like Larry Elder, and also as other candidates that they're really strong into the run as for governor of California. So let us bring right here again, let us bring right here Diego Martinez, candidate for governor for California. Diego, thank you so much for being again over here with us in our platform.
Oscar, thank you again for having me on your show. It's a pleasure to be here again. Everybody knows I'm running for governor of California. Some people wanted to know what party I represent. I represent the Republican Party. I believe in the values, but I also believe that both parties have failed the California people, and it's time that we do something different.
Now, there's other questions that they were asking me about you. And one of the questions is, right now, there is an idea if he is a candidate or a politician for America First policies, question mark for you.
You know, I'm about California, the California people first. I know that we talk about America and it's America first, but our home state and what we need to worry about is the California people at this moment. We worry too much about other states and forget about what's going on in California. Right now, we have Afghanistan's refugees coming to the state of California. We have a border problem. We have water problems. We have so many more problems than to be talking about just the whole United States. We got to talk about our problems and start being about California solutions for our California problems. So yes, American first, but I'm a Californian first because that's what we need to take care of. This is our backyard. And if we don't defend it, nobody else is going to.
So let me just get right into something that happened. You know, there is a candidate that is also running for the same state of California. That is Mr. Larry Elder.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you're going to see him, and possibly you're going to debate this man. And there is a I don't know, let's say a contributor for the LA Times, contributor that she is basically a leftist progressive liberal, this particular individual, and she wrote something against Larry Elder. I will take this is a cultural question for you, as there is an organization that by the name of Latinx. This organization, it is particularly focusing on taking away the gender and the originality of the of our history, of our culture, of Latino and Latina, what we represent, and adding the X. Basically, it takes away the culture and what we are identified as. What do you think about this? And I believe that is it's just an incompetent way to just take away our culture and our history. What do you think about this?
Anything that takes X, that takes your female ethnicity out, male ethnicity, is wrong and it should never be put. We as Hispanics, Latinos, Mexicanos, wherever you want to call it, we are very proud to be males. We're very proud to be females. We're very proud of our heritage and where we come from and the way we address it. You can go back into what they're doing with CRT and sexual training at schools right now, where they're trying to tell our kids that they're a certain sex. At 3-4 years old, our kids need a Tonka toy. They don't need to be talking about sexuality or how their feelings are or which way they should be. I think it's wrong for anybody to try to take our masculinity or femininity away or try to classify us in any other way. And I think that's a bad mistake that everybody's trying to do to be politically correct. And I think we have gone so much to be politically correct that you're scared to say anything to anybody. It used to be able to go somewhere and say, hey, you look nice today. Now it's sexual assault. I mean, we have gotten way too far left and way too sensitive in this world from where we come from. I think putting an X or anything in front of anything should stop. They should really look at themselves and look at the whole generation and look at everybody before they start classifying us. I think it's a mistake.
This particular individual also wrote this, and this is going back to the critical race theory and all this kind of craziness that is occurring in the United States of America. She wrote this tweet, and I will like for you to basically, address this tweet, and ultimately also to talk about this tweet. And let me just put something right here, right here. She basically wrote this, and let me just read it to you. It says, this is a tweet by this contributor by the name of Jean Guerrero, and her tweet says, breaking: Larry Elder's views on black crime were shaped by Jared Taylor, a well-known white supremacist he repeatedly cited in early writings. My new column on the thread he poses for California. Latinos and Black people. This is sad because they're labeling not only this man as a white supremacist, but this is all the people that they stand against this tyrannical left, Diego. They are labeled now as white supremacists, that we are for, the systematic racism exists and the white supremacists and all this kind of stuff. This particularly moves also to you, that you are a Latino, speaks both languages, and if you are against this narrative of this leftist in California, you will be labeled also as a white supremacist. What are your thoughts on this? That you are a Latino, and how can you explain this kind of incompetent and tyrannical tweets like these people, that they are really, it's just delusional?
You know what's funny, Oscar, is that everybody wants to label somebody something. We're nobody. You know what? We're human beings. We're either black, white, Hispanic. It doesn't matter. We're all the same. The biggest problem is that racism is taking a new step into the United States. All of a sudden, everybody's racist. If you do something wrong, you're racist. If you do this, you're racist. If you do that, you're racist. You know what's funny is I got an immigration reform program. We talked about it a little bit last time. And Hispanic people come up to me and they say, "Sos racista." You're racist. Because I want to secure our borders, because I want the safety of our people, because I want California to be safe. I'm racist. Because I'm going to take something away from you, which you're getting for free, which you don't deserve. I'm racist. No, I'm realistic. I'm a patriot and I'm an American. Here's the problem with people who are spreading hate. They do it behind I'm a journalist. They need to be also prosecuted for hate, because that's all they're doing. They're instigating hate. And they need to stop. There was a bill passed called a hate crime. We need to start enforcing that, and we need to remove that a little bit from people who call themselves a journalist. Because if you're going to be a journalist, do it right up the middle, whether it's me, whether it's Larry Elder, whether it's anybody else. If we're not in your narrative, guess what? We're racist. We're not kosher. We're white supremacists. We're the farthest thing from white supremacy, and I think that has gone away. I think that we're bringing it back. You want to take racism away from everything else? Take it out of your applications. What race are you? It shouldn't matter. What gender are you? That shouldn't matter. Am I qualified to do this job? Am I qualified to go to this school? Am I qualified for this? That's the biggest problem with racism. We keep bringing it up. You take it out of the equation, it doesn't happen. But that lady is stealing hate into people, and that's wrong.
What do you think that it should be done to, these kind of individuals, that they specifically spread the hate between, the Latino community, that is basically the one that it suffers the most, when these kind of individuals, they're trying to divide our culture, and ultimately, not only that, to the in your part, the Californians, this is it affects our youth. It affects directly the young kids, and I believe that it should be programs to educate them more on our culture and our history. What are your thoughts on that?
Our youth are very important because they're the future of our countries, both sides, all countries. Our youth is what's important, because in 30 years from now, 40 years from now, most of us will be gone. There'll be a new generation. What are we training our youth right now to be in the future? When we were growing up, they taught us that you love everybody, everybody's created equal. There is no racism. I grew up in Stockton, California, where you have all cultures. I didn't know I had to be racist towards somebody, and I didn't want to be, and I still don't want to be. I don't think racism exists in that format. I think we build it and we keep growing on it. What I would tell everybody is this: CRT needs to get out of our schools. We need to stop talking about it. You want to debate about it, take it to college, take it where everybody's educated, because CRT is being racist discrimination against the American people or the white people, however you want to call it. And it's also teaching minorities like myself and every other, about 90% of the NFL players, that we grew up in a bad neighborhood, we grew up poor, we grew up with a single parent. It's okay for us to be in jail. It's okay for us to commit crimes. That is the biggest mistake that we're doing. We are now teaching it because everybody's gotten away from it. We have a problem there. Our biggest problems are education, and we need to go back to fundamentals and teaching exactly what it is. We need to bring God back into our lives, but it starts at the house. Don't expect teachers or somebody else to bring God into your family. You want God in your life, you need to get off your butt. You need to go to church on Sunday. You need to find a preacher, and you need to get involved with your churches. Get your kids involved with churches. That's where the fundamentals of life comes in.
California has a huge huge homeless problem. It's
do.
it's a big thing, Diego. It's just a big thing. And we were talking about the last live feed about how the cost to live in California is just so ridiculous. It's just 10 years and the difference of a decade has changed. Holy cow. Like it's just in some places it's just impossible to buy a house in California. What can it be done to fix this homeless situation? Because it is not only you got the left that is classifying that only the homeless people are minorities. It is a lie. It is a complete blatant lie. You have old social type of classes. They're being homeless because there is no job opportunities, and also the cost of living in California, it is so ridiculously high. But the left is trying to classify that it's only blacks and browns. That is ridiculous. What can you say about that, Diego?
First of all, we have a huge homeless problem in the state of California. We have talked about it over and over again. One of the major problems with the homeless problems, housing is that it keeps increasing. Homeless people keep increasing in the state of California because our governor at this moment wants to invite homeless from other states to come in here. Not only that, other states are giving people free rides. Basically, they're buying them a Greyhound ticket, a one-way back into California. The reason that is because our laws. We have laws that protect the homeless people, the homeless population, and people doing small crimes, such as Prop 47. You hear me say that all the time. We have got to get out of Prop 47 and 109, which minor offenders actually get cited and released and get sent home. Well, that's going to help reduce the traffic of homeless people coming from other states. That's not going to fix the homeless problem in California. 70% of our homeless people in the state of California have mental health issues. We need to reopen mental health and put those people in the facilities that they need to be so they get the training and the help by a doctor that they need. You also have about another 30% after that. We have old buildings, old warehouses in every town, every county here that we can make those into housing for the homeless, but it's not us doing it. Okay, I don't want the California people to think that they're going to go out there and actually do it, or I'm going to contract some big contract company. We're going to teach the homeless a trade. They're going to help us build their housing. With that, they're also going to have rehab centers for alcohol and drugs, and they're going to have a 24-hour counselor there to make sure that they're staying on track. The people that don't and will never want to be part of housing, they will have an area, like a park area, where they can set their tents, where they'll have bathrooms and showers to be able to go to. We're going to change the mandates, or the executive order that got put that homeless people can live out on the streets. No, they cannot. They can no longer be in your parking lot. They can no longer be in your sidewalk. Now, if the police find them, they take them back to these places. Third time, you're going to go to jail because now you're bluntly breaking the law. But we need to get them off our streets. We need to stop giving them free drugs and free needles to shoot up. We also have a bigger problem. So I always say this, day 2 of me becoming a governor, you will not see that park filled with homeless anymore. Day 2, day 3, by the first week, the county will start cleaning up, taking the graffiti off walls, and you will not see the tents there anymore. If you have ever served in the military, we can set up housing for the military bases within 1 day. When I take office, we're going to set up these kind of housing, these kind of places, which is called an intake. We're going to take the homeless, we're going to put them in there, and we're going to evaluate them. We don't know who needs to go to mental health. We don't know who has drug problems. We don't know who has both, who has just alcohol problem. We're going to put them in an intake area where they're going to have bathrooms, food, showers, a place to sleep, but it'll give us the time for doctors and our personnel to evaluate and make sure that we classify them and put them in the right programs where they need to be, so we can give them the help that they need. This will solve the problem, and it will also put people in trade so that once they complete their program, they can actually go back to being productive members of society and being able to contribute. You brought up the prices of houses in California. Well, the first thing I'm going to do is we're going to stop selling houses in our land to people who are not American citizens. Okay, we're having China come over here and buy our land right now. They don't even have to live here. They can just write a check, buy the land of America. Well, what happens is they're driving up the prices because they'll overpay, and now our prices keep going up because of their inflation. The problem is that we're selling our country little by little to China instead of keeping it for the American people. Under my administration, I'm going to put affordable housing. We have a program where everybody will be able to own a house in the state of California, regardless of your credit. I'm going to lay it out one of these days when we have a little bit more time to talk.
You know, you said something really interesting because you're talking about China inflating the economy of the United States of America. That is inevitably happening due to what just occurred with COVID, and they pulled out, and the economy dropped of the United States. They were -4 on their GDP and the gross domestic product. It was possibly one of the worst in history, but it is exactly what is happening to Mexico, Diego. Americans are coming over here as Californians. Let me just specify because I'm in the Baja state. Californians are coming over here and they're inflating our economy, and the rents are now paid in dollars. So by you doing this, and if you lower down the cost of rent and giving programs, you will actually be helping not only Californians, but you will actually be helping us on the other side. That is the economy that is not that strong on our side, which it takes me to the other topic, the fluency of traffic. I went to the commercial line during the week, that is the truck driver line. A lot of the truck drivers were complaining about the meticulous inspections, not only of the American customs, but the Mexican customs. And also, there's a long, long line of hours. The most record-breaking hour to cross to the United States of America was in 2019. It was 11 hours to cross from Tijuana to the United States of America. I believe that the next governor of California needs to sit down with the governor of Baja and talk about this issue. Your opinion on this?
Well, we have a lot of problems. Last time I was in Tijuana, it took us almost 8 hours to cross from one end to the other, just waiting in line. So there's a problem in that in the border towns just to get us across one way or another. We have merchants that need to get over here because we're depending on their merchandise, and they're taking them forever just to even just get through customs. But you also got to remember this, Oscar, that there is a lot of drugs that keep coming through these borders, human trafficking, and illegals who are sitting in cars trying to come into the United States that we have to check. But I believe that if the two nations got together, the two governors, any one of our governors, and the 3 border entrances to California, we can streamline this in a little better way. Maybe instead of just having 2 checkpoints, because that's what you're having. You're having the Mexican authorities look at one side and then the American authorities look at the other. Imagine there being one in the middle where it's fastest for these merchants to be able to get in and out. There's also people that work in the United States to come back in and out every day. Those people should probably be given a certain pass, but you still got to check those cars, making sure that they don't have any narcotics or they don't actually have anybody that they're not supposed to have in that car coming through. So it's almost like a express lane that you can almost do if in the middle somewhere we both customs check these trucks and we get them out of there a lot faster than having 2 delay moments. So
I could not agree more. There is a bill that is being passed right. They're trying to pass this bill, and it is the End Child Trafficking Act Now bill. This bill is pushed by particularly more Republicans. It is Marsha Blackburn by Senator by Tennessee. Also, you have Lance Gooden by Texas. Also, you have Matt Gaetz, I think is Florida. This bill, what it pushes is to adults to stop using children so they can cheat on the immigration law and get the political asylum into the United States of America. This has been occurring since the caravan started in 2018. More than 5,800 fake families were registered. In 2019, more than 4,800 fake families were registered. If you become governor, will you push for these kind of bills to be passed also, not only in the United States of America, but in the state of California, that this is a child trafficking, really strong child trafficking state? Will you do something to stop this? Because it is so important that this kind of abuse and this multi-billion business suffers a little bump on the road, because it is just enormous fluency as an open border as it is right now.
I will definitely stand behind that bill, and we will enforce it at the border. We have to find a way to be able to justify that those children that are coming in with the parents are actually belonging to those parents. If you're coming here legally, you're going to have all the documents in order, but you just can't just pick up a kid along the way. And that's what's been going on. Once they get here, they become human trafficking. We are actually going to stiffen our laws on human trafficking. We are going to max the law. We're going to take it to the next level on any human trafficker caught doing this in the state of California. We are going to reduce the amount of it. We have the resources and we have the agencies that will be able to enforce these laws. So to answer your question, yes, I will sign the bill and I will make sure that California is 100% strict on any human trafficking or anybody who's pretending that that's their kid, and it's not, because when they come to the United States, those kids get sold. Those kids get taken for sex trafficking. They get taken somewhere else. What happened to all the kids that got here last year? Where are they at? Nobody knows. So we move kids, and this is why I say about California first. We're taking kids from Texas and we're shipping them to California. When they get to California, nobody knows where they're at. If their parents happen to come back into Texas looking for them, right? They say their parents get everything legally and they want to go find their kids. Where are they? They're not in Texas anymore, and the kids don't even know that they're not in Texas. They don't even know where they're at because they got on a plane and they got shipped over. And a lot of those kids go to New York. Sex trafficking is a big issue here in the state of California and in the United States, and we need to have tougher laws, and we need to stop it. Any kid that comes into the United States, we need to be able to track. We need to be able to know where they're at. We need to be able to protect people who are here. Yet we're not, and we're allowing this to get out of hand, and we have way too long allowed it. I hate to say this. California, maybe the politician, United States politician, they're all involved in this crap. And it's a very few that stand up for it. California has enough Republican representation, yet not one of them standing behind this bill. I read the bill, and it's a joke that none of our people in our border towns are standing behind this.
Absolutely. Now, I want to ask you something. California is one of the states that has a gigantic problem with drug addiction, and it is because of the enormous trafficking of drugs that is occurring on a consistently day basis. Right now, the Biden administration practically is opening up the borders, not on the port of entry, a vehicle port of entry, but in the non-port of entries. And there's a lot of trafficking of all kinds through all non-port of entries, mountains, seas, deserts. What is you, Diego Martinez, as a governor, going to do to reduce this, humongous problem, because it is affecting the youth and the new youth of California? It is being extremely affected by this drug addiction problem. And then, it derivates to, to what is happening right now to the youth. You got the youngsters being more concentrated on protests, on riots, on being part of an organization that is radical leftist. What can you bring to the table to stop this kind of situations? And if there's going to be programs for the youth?
Okay, so we're going to have rehab. Right now, California has these shoot-up clinics, what they call, where you can go get your drugs, you can go get your needles, and basically the government's paying for these people to get high. Those programs are going to come to an end, and they're going to go back to being either a rehab center to help these kids get off drugs, because we have a lot of our youth are now hooked on drugs. We're also going to go back to having police in our schools fighting this going on. A lot of kids are selling drugs at school. A lot of kids are using drugs at school. And it's because of the lack of supervision that our schools and our teachers are giving them, because of the lack of respect that now comes with being a teacher. Kids don't respect teachers. They don't hold up to authorities. Nothing happens to them. So we're going to bring those programs back. The other part of it is we're going to secure our border. And I'll say that again, we're going to finish building the wall. We're going to lose 300 feet of American soil just so I don't have to deal with all the red tape. I'm going to take a Texas approach to it, and I'm going to hope that Arizona joins me when we do it, where we just start building the wall. I already said how we're going to fund the wall. And yeah, it's not going to come out of the California taxpayers, but it's going to come off the money that we seize at the borders. I say it plainly. You break the law in California, we seize your money. We're going to use it to protect ourselves, to make sure that you can't do it anymore. We need to be harder on drug trafficking, and we also need to be harder on drug abuse and users in the state of California, which we have gone lackadaisy about over the years. Now, if you're selling drugs in the state of California, it's a misdemeanor, it's a cite and release, have a good day, go back to your corner, make more money. We can't have that. That's the problems here. We have allowed all this bad stuff in society to take over our morals and the way we do life. And they took over law and order. With me as being governor, we're going to finish the wall exactly at the places that you're talking about. We're going to be a little bit more about the border and figure out how to make it faster for people to get through, but a lot safer, and make sure that we can inspect vehicles in a faster speed so people can get across, but make sure that we don't get drugs coming across.
Now, I will ask you something that it has, a little bit to do with the situation, what is going on in the United States of America. What are your thoughts on freedom of speech? It's one of the rights that is in the Constitution of the United States of America, the First Amendment, freedom of religion, freedom of this, freedom of that. It's a lot of freedom. Uh, what are your thoughts on the culture right now on kneeling down on the national anthem?
I'm probably the wrong person to ask about that, because I tell you what, as governor of California, if I go to a baseball game and the players are kneeling down, that'll be the last time that they get $1 single from the state of California to build anything. I don't care. You know why? Because our soldiers deserve the utmost respect. The national anthem represents each and every single one of our soldiers. One of the worst things that I saw 2 years ago, 9/11, the Vietnamese community in San Jose were doing a memorial for the 9/11, and they were playing taps. And somebody was taking a knee at taps. And I'm like, you know what? You stand up, because taps is when a fallen soldier has fought for this country. The national anthem stands for that, stands for the American people, the Americana, where we have worked so hard to be free. What my family and a lot of other immigrants who came to this country are fighting for freedom. Yet we come to the United States to give it all up. We sacrifice our lives and our humanity. No. So if you're kneeling down and you're a sport organization, baseball, football, basketball, I don't care. Guess what? You will not get any funding from the state of California at all. We will not help you build a stadium. We will not help you build anything. Show some damn respect for the country that has respected you and allowed you to make the millions and billions of dollars that you have made. And God forbid that I ever own a football team or something like that, because if a player kneels down, he just quit. You don't want to stand up. You don't want to put your hand over your heart. Then stand up and be grateful for the freedom and the billions of dollars that you're making off the backs of young men and women who sacrifice their lives for you to be able to do this. You want to show some charity, you want to show some kind of thing, go to the inner cities, go charter a bus, go get a couple of those school kids, go get their parents to let you bring those kids to a football game. Look at those kids and say, you do not need to be selling drugs. You do not need to be a gangbanger, and you do not need to go to prison to make a living in this world. You need to put your head down, you need education, and you can end up just like me. Too far society has taken and not given anything back. These players who are kneeling down for the national anthem is a joke. The worst joke was the mayor of San Diego.
Yes.
Who took a knee in the middle of San Diego with Black Lives Matter. That's a joke, an insult to every veteran and everybody who has fought for his freedom. And the guy should have been shot that day. And I shouldn't say that because somebody's going to take that out of context, but that is an embarrassing that a politician, a leader, a mayor of a major city will go to the middle of town and take a knee. I take a knee to God, and no man will ever bend my knee.
There's a question right here in the live feed, and it's another problem, Diego, that has been occurring in California. There was another question that I had in my mind. Please remind me, Diego, this question that is voter ID. Remind me later on so I can, elaborate on that. But there's a question right here by a Californian. It says, what are you going to do about the fires in California? That I believe that you have a huge solution for that. And I think that it's a good solution. So I read about it. So what are you going to do about the fires in California, Diego?
Well, first and foremost, anybody who's out there in the fires right now, my thoughts and prayers go out to you guys and for your loss. It's a shame that our governor took our firefighters from California to Montana to help Montana fight a fire that wasn't even a quarter of the size of what we have here in California. That will never happen with me as governor, because California first, our American people first, and we take care of our own first, because that's we've been lacking that leadership for a long time here in the state of California. First, we need to deregulate California, and we need to let the lumber industry come back into California. We need to have forest management, which means cleaning up our forests, not only just the dead lumber on the ground, but also the trees that are ready to go that are overgrown. Over the last 30 years, we have neglected our forests. We have neglected our state, and we have neglected our environment. That's why these forest fires are so dangerous right now. because there's so much dead lumber on the ground, there's so much brush that when a fire hits, it spreads. The worst part of that is because we haven't managed our forests, we haven't thinned them out, we haven't kept them up, we have lost revenue, we have lost jobs, and we have lost the opportunity to prevent what wildfires do at the end of this. There's always going to be fires in the state of California. It's like saying Texas won't have a tornado. These are things that happen because of where we live. Climate change might have a small portion, but the reality is us not maintaining our forests that has a bigger burden on us. So we're going to deregulate California, bring lumber industry back, thin out the forest, and give people more work, more employment. Second portion of this is we have 6 zones in the state of California. We have to have a budget to put fire trucks along these zones. They're state-owned fire trucks, so when a fire breaks out, a firefighter can get on it and get up to the fire a lot faster. That's not happening right now. Also, they're making a lot of money in what's called the fires. So it used to be that you used to go out there, fight a fire within a month max. Now it's 3, 4, 5 months because the private sector got involved. They're building up the camps. They're doing this. They're doing that. And it's all a money grab. It's how much money can we make off these fires, not how quickly we can get them out. We have people in prison that can actually set up fire camps. We have people in prison that can actually go back to this. But that goes back to not releasing inmates before time, not closing our prisons, and giving inmates something to do other than just to sit in a cell. So we're going to open up those programs, and we're going to fight fires. We're going to prevent the outcome of fires by doing fire roads like we used to, maintaining our forests where they're a healthy environment.
Voter ID. Now, this is so ridiculous, and this is my point of view as a Mexican. Since I had the knowledge in Mexico and in the Latino culture, that, you know, Central America and South America, the majority of the countries, we have voter ID since we are 18 and we become an adult. The country that it was the most capitalist country in the world is not the United States anymore right now to this, you know, administration, but the American dream, the most, you know, the country that everybody wants to go to, the country that has the American dream, the capitalist country in the world that wants, you can wake up one day, Diego, and you can have the dream of your life, is the most insecure country right now for voting. There's a lot of corruption in voting. And ultimately, there's no voting ID. This is something that it needs to change in the United States of America. It needs to change. Do you think voting ID has to be a solution for every election, not only in the state of California, but also in every part of the United States of America? What do you think about voting ID?
Well, Oscar, you said it yourself. California is the leader. What happens in California usually happens in the rest of the world or in the rest of the United States, and some of it trickles down to your neck of the woods. My thoughts on voter ID. It's funny. You need an ID to get into a nightclub, a bar. You need an ID to get beer, cigarettes. You need an ID to buy a gun. You need an ID to get your money out of your own bank. Even though it's you still need an ID. Yeah, we're making excuses why we shouldn't have an ID to vote. The excuse is simple. You're going to have a voter ID with 2 forms of identification, your birth certificate, your passport, and your ID. You got to be able to prove that you're a U.S. citizen and that you deserve the right to vote, because that's one of the privileges that we get. But we're going to go to a step further than that. If you're an absentee voter, I need to have your a copy of your birth certificate, passport, or ID, both of those, and a recent bill saying that you're still alive and you're still getting mail at that address. We have got to go back to cleaning the voter roll, which that comes from the Secretary of State. That'll be one of the first things I execute when I get in there. I'm going to ask the Secretary of State to go ahead and clean up the voter poll and the rolls so that we know who's actually voting. We're going to remove being able to register to vote from DMV, because that's what's going on. Anybody who goes to DMV to either get an ID or get a driver's license, they're automatically registering themselves to vote, even though nobody's checked that they're even legally able to vote. We're going to have copy machines at our voting sites. You're going to have to actually get off your butt and actually go vote in person. And you're going to get your ballot there. You're going to take a copy of your ID, and we're going to hook it up to the back of that ballot so that we know that the right person actually did vote. It's something that needs to be done. But now there's people that get, and they drop it in a ballot, right? They drop it in a mailbox. Well, what happens to that is You have the U.S. Postal Service picking up your ballots, okay? These are your votes. They can't even get your mail right, let alone the other day they found a guy passed out with drugs and a gun and 300 ballots, 3,000 ballots. Come on. We have got to go a little deeper. If we're going to do that, why do we use an armored truck to move money from one bank to the other? Because we want to secure, right? Well, don't you think your vote should be that important and we should secure it the same way? It wouldn't cost the state very much money to once a week get an armored truck, get a Republican, get a Democrat, get anybody in those parties that want to actually go and physically watch this happening, go pick up the ballots and transport them in a secure fashion with enough people to watch to make sure it's secure. That's
Diego, sorry if we interrupt you, but that happens actually. And you know, a lot of people say about Mexico that is a really corrupt country. It is, but that actually happens in our voting ballots. The voting booths collect all the ballots, they put it on these boxes, and then they have a conglomerate of officials to take them specifically to the voting office, and they are basically patrolling the vehicle or the people that they were in charge of the voting table, which takes me to the other question that I want to ask you about this. Your thoughts on mailed-in ballots.
I'm against mail-in ballots. Against, if you're an absentee voter, I get it. I was in for a long time, but I think that the ballots need to be done in person so we have real accountability of who's actually filling them out, that we know that you're supposed to be filling them out. Now, absentee voting, same way. Send me a current bill, send me a ID, and send me proof that you're a U.S. citizen, whether it's your passport, your birth certificate, or your certificate of naturalization, which I have both. So you have to send something in that shows that you're still alive, that you're actually able to vote. I am 100% against mail-in ballots. I believe that people can get up and they want to get up and go actually vote.
One of the advantages that you have, Diego, is that you are bilingual. And that is a triggering effect on the left. Why? Because you will know how to manage yourself with the other part that is it's really an impeccable and is really important to have international great relations with the other country that is your neighbor, that is Mexico on this side. What is your thought on this relationship that you are going to create between two countries, and what is Diego Martinez going to do to create a better relationship with Mexico in terms, first and foremost, that I believe that the number one thing that you stand for is national security, is what I'm following right here. What are your thoughts on this?
You know, one of the beautiful things, and we talked about it last time, I don't need somebody interpreting for me. I don't need a puppet next to me telling me. I don't need a monkey on my shoulder telling somebody else what I'm saying. I think a lot of the times when we negotiate and we talk to other countries, the language gets in the way, whether you like it or not, whether you got an interpreter or whether you have one of those ear things that is interpreting for you. I believe that me and the three governors of Mexico, which are border towns, cities, states, we can actually come to a solution for a lot of the problems that are happening at the border. I don't think the United States can do it on their own. We need Mexico to help us. With both sides working on the same problem, we can really come down with a real solution. And that's one thing that you get with me. I can sit there and talk to the governors in their own language. I understand what they're saying. We can put it together and we can put a plan, because human trafficking is coming from one side to the other. It's not just a California or a United States problem. It's a world problem that we got to stop on the points of entries to both of our counties, to both of our states. And not only that, remember that a lot of these people are coming down south from other places that are causing it into Mexico right now. So I think if we work together, we can fix this.
Last two questions. Your thoughts on Larry Elder?
Say that one more time. You cut out for a second.
Last two questions. Your thoughts on the first one. Your thoughts on Larry Elder?
I think Larry Elder's a weak candidate. I think he's scared of debating anybody with some real knowledge. I think he's living off his fame. I do not agree with him when he said that Joe Biden won the election fair square. I believe the elections were fraught. I think there was fraudulent in them. I can't prove it, but as governor of California, I tell you what, I will do an investigation and people will know in the state of California whether it was done or not. whichever way, we deserve the truth, and nobody wants to investigate. So I'll make sure that we investigate. I believe that the newspapers are talking very bad about him. And I'll tell you what, we know that journalism, left or right, will talk slander on somebody. But I believe that some of it is true. And I think the man needs to stand up and make a comment and say something about it and stop blaming somebody else, stop saying something isn't true. We all had to turn in our tax returns. He didn't do it right. So he wanted to pull the race card. He wanted to pull the whiny card. He wanted to go sue the state of California so he could get on the ballot. That's not the kind of leader I want. I want the kind of leader that will take responsibility and acknowledgement for their mistakes. I would have preferred the man say, hey, I didn't do this right. I'm going to try to get around it because it's unconstitutional and it shouldn't be right. I can respect that. But when you flat out say somebody doesn't want you there, you're an arrogant. You don't know what you're talking about, and your policies suck because you will not debate anybody. Larry Elder, if you or your people are watching this, and I know a lot of you guys watch this, I challenge you to a debate. September 6th, Hogwarts political parties having one down south. Why don't you go join it and join the rest of the candidates who are really here for the California people? Stop living on your name. Start living on what you can actually do. Because I don't think you're the man for the job. I think you're unfit, you're rude, and I believe that your stance on women is wrong. Women are created equal to men, and they have the right and the same right as men do. And I believe your statements are wrong.
Next question. Another candidate. Your thoughts on Caitlyn Jenner?
Caitlyn Jenner, she has the right to run just like anybody else. I'm going to say this, and hopefully nobody gets offended. She has more huevos than half of the Republican Party in line right now because she put herself out there. She actually went out. I wish she would have concentrated more on the campaign in California people than going and doing a show somewhere else. So I don't believe that California is ready for a transgender to actually have a place in our government. And I'll say that just because of this. Very simple. You can't decide if you're a woman or a man, but you're supposed to decide the budget of California. I like Bruce when he was Bruce. Caitlyn, I don't know, but I can tell you this. You can't live off what Bruce did in the 80s, become a gold medalist, and then show a picture of Sports Illustrated as you in a bathing suit saying, look at me, I'm the woman of the year. You can't decide who you are. Unfortunately, I think you need to get that straight before you try to run for office in the state of California. I'd like to meet you someday, sit down and talk with you. But as far as having you as our commander-in-chief of the state of California, I'm sorry. I don't think that you're there yet when you don't even know which sexuality you want to be. When you said it's one said you said it's not okay for transgender males to play in women's sports, but they're taking Women of the Year award. You're not a woman, and you're degrading women who are natural-born, beautiful women to say that. You know, I understand whatever you feel inside and that you want to be a woman, but you cannot take a place of a woman. And God bless you and the best to you. That's all I can say. And hopefully you can battle whatever demons you're battling with. And if you're happy being a female, be happy with it. But I don't think you're ready to be governor of California, unfortunately.
Why, in the last question, why is Diego Martinez the candidate to be fit to be governor of California? Why? Give me a good reason why.
Well, the simple reason. First of all, I'm an immigrant. Like you said, I'm bilingual. I can actually talk business with other states or other countries, which we're going to need to secure a border. I also understand what it's like to own a business, run a business, and actually go into businesses and help businesses turn around and make them profitable. For far too long, we, the California people, have stood by that people who don't even understand what it's like to live a normal life run our state to the ground. Not only that, they make rules that don't make sense. They overtax you, and they have no bearance of it because they're getting paid by the California people. Perfect example, COVID-19 hit. Gavin Newsom, our governor, made our state employees, our correctional officers, take 18% pay cut. Yet he's still getting paid his $17,000 a month. Our assembly people and our legislators, they took almost a year off, and yet they were still getting paid. But the California people wasn't. Do you think they cared? Do you think they cared that they put all these mandates up for restaurants to be open at 25% of their capacity, and then they shut them down 3 weeks later, yet they're going to the French Laundry? The reason I'm most fit to be a candidate and to be a governor and the leader and chief of commander of the state of California is simple. I'm a businessman. I have a business mind, and I have the California people's interest in my heart and at first. I will listen to every single Californian, and I will fight for every single California for a better future. I'm business oriented. I will run California like a business, which means I'm going to bring businesses back. We're going to deregulate. We're going to lower taxes across the board. We're going to put programs to put people back to work. We're going to get people off welfare that have been on welfare for decades. We're going to actually put them back in trade schools. We're going to have child care for them, and we're going to give them a training to be able to go back to work and be productive members of society and stop living off the California people. And that's the problem that we have. We're going to secure our borders, because I understand what border security means. Coming from another country, you also understand that you don't want all these bad people coming in here. I have kids who are on drugs, so I understand what the effect of drugs have done and how they have broken up families. I have come from a single parent home, which we haven't had a lot, but we all really live the American dream. My thoughts and my theory is every single Californian should be back to work. Every single Californian should be living their California dreams, whatever it might be. I believe in honest hard work. And if you look at my campaign, you will see exactly what I'm talking about. I don't dodge any bullets. I don't dodge anybody. I'm straightforward, and you can come talk to me at any moment that you want. That's why I'm better than all these other people that you see. You don't see Larry Elder at debates. You don't see him going out feeding the homeless. You don't see him doing anything other than going to fundraising, because guess what? His special interest is his own damn pocket. Well, let's turn that around. I self-funded this. So if I didn't really want to do this for the California people, I wouldn't have spent so much money doing it. That's the difference between me and other candidates. I'm actually a blue-collar, hardworking, everyday person, just like everybody else. So I can relate to the real California problems and get some real California solutions. Diego Martinez is not for sale. Neither is the state of California anymore. We're off the market.
Well, thank you so much, Diego. That was, a great statement. Thank you so much for being on the platform again. Hopefully we will meet, in the next incoming week, coming over here to the border. I would like to take you to a really particular place, so you will make a great statement for the other candidates. As this is a really dangerous spot, but I want to take you there so you can actually see firsthand and send a message to the California people, and particularly there's border agents also there. You can actually, have a conversation with them and and practically see their feeling and their moral. But first and foremost, I want to thank you again. God bless you, and hopefully we will see each other, in incoming days.
Officer, I actually cleared out my schedule early week, so Monday I'm going to meet you there, and we're going to go do this. And also, if we have time allotted either Monday or Tuesday, let's go see the veterans who got deported from the United States after serving in the military. Those people are on my mind every day, and I'm working with some other agencies. Hopefully, I'll have some answers when I see you on how we're going to get those folks back here in the United States where they deserve to be. Again, it's always a pleasure to be here with you. Thank you for having me on your program.
Well, there you have it, people. Thank you so much, Diego Martinez. Diego Martinez, candidate for the governor of California, people. There you have it. Thank you so much, Diego.
Thank you, and we'll see you next time, Oscar. We'll see you on Monday. Thank you.
There you have it, people. Diego Martinez, candidate for the state of California. A really good interview. We talked about culture stuff that is extremely important for, how they call us minorities. For the Latino and Hispanic community that is located in the part of California, I believe in equality. I always believe in equality. As a Mexican, we live close to the border. This, I believe that a lot of people that they don't live close to the border, they don't imagine how related we are and how exactly the culture it is related. It is just immensely almost the same. And this is the reason why we need to have a conversation to see the points of view of my neighbor and the points of view on the other side. Unity, I believe that is always has been the number one key to destroy evil and to basically defeat the evil agenda. The evil agenda right now, it is the leftist globalist elite that they are for socialism and communism, and ultimately for this globalization of everything. And it is important for us to hear us out and to understand, every point of view. On the other hand, and as a United States citizen and as a Mexican citizen, I believe that these candidates that they are not debating, it takes me back to a candidate over here in Baja California that wanted to run for governor, but they never attended a debate. This is a form of particularly directing to the population that I will not be in the most important day, that is to show you why I want to be a leader for your state. In our state of Baja California, the past governor never went to a debate and never showed up to defend the narrative of other candidates. This showed, cowardness on his behalf, and ultimately his true colors came out later on. I'm not signalizing nobody. I believe that everything has to remember these are these are going to be public, public servers of the people, of the community, of the American taxpayers, of you. So these people need to answer your questions. These people are obligated to give you the answers that you need, and they are, for the people. They're not for the government. God bless you all. There's a comment right here. Oscar, can you try to get an interview with Steve Chavez Lodge as well? We'll also like to hear from him. I believe that I have a message, but yes, whoever wants to come on the platform, he's welcome. He's welcome. Whoever wants to discuss these kind of critical topics. And also ultimately the first topic that it was right at the bat is how they're trying to change our identity as Latinos. These lunatics, they're trying to change Latino and Latina to Latinx. Disgusting. Never we are going to degrade ourselves to not identify ourselves as Latino and Latina. If you give this lunatic idea to somebody in the United States of America, this is why nobody's following that idea, because it's just a lunatic talking. God bless you all. Thank you so much for watching. Buy Me a Coffee is on top of the link. If you guys like to contribute to our travel fund, Buy Me a Coffee is on top of the link, and it will be directed specifically to our travel fund and ultimately to continue our reporting. Thank you so much. Follow me at Facebook, YouTube, Telegram, and my new channel as Oscar L. Blue Independent Media on YouTube. And also you can follow me now at Instagram. You can look me up as Oscar Blue Media. I think it is like that. I just created a new Instagram, and let me just go and check first and foremost. How am I registered? It is Oscar L. Blue Media, all together. Oscar L. Blue Media. You can follow me on Instagram. I just created this one. They took away my Instagram not too long ago, so it was really bad. But Oscar L. Blue Media is the Instagram that you guys can go and follow. Also, you can follow Border Network News, Instagram, Telegram, and Facebook, and follow the other half of Border Network News, that is Mr. Anthony Agüero, Real Anthony Agüero. You can follow him at all platforms. God bless you all. Stay safe. We will be doing a breaking news update from Tapachula in around 25 to 30 minutes. I will have another live feed. It is breaking news from Tapachula. Again, the migrants are desperate in the south border of Mexico. I told you this border was going to collapse, and it is collapsing right now. God bless you all. Stay safe. And like we always say, people, peace and love, because always your country's first. God bless.
Ya van días y varias semanas.
He hasn't given no response, and it's been days and it's been weeks, and What do you think, Sarah, this canyon right here?
It's absolutely incredible. I haven't been to Tijuana in a lot of years, and seeing how wide open it is. I mean, I don't know if you could turn the camera around and show everyone just how wide open it is. It's incredible.
Couple of questions. No. Rashida, what is your opinion on the massive child trafficking that is happening?
Y espero logren su objetivo de la justicia a su país. Luchen por su país. Say the basically fight for your country.
Están bloqueando el acceso. ¡Viva! La Policía Federal o la autoridad nos está deteniendo el acceso y nos está deteniendo el paso para poder cruzar hacia el Zócalo, señores.